right, looks like we are live. If anybody's there, let me know. We'll wait here about 1 minute, and then we'll go ahead and get started with what I want to bring to you this morning. If you're up there, let me see. Okay, I see Crystal's on. My biggest fan, Pastor Bartlett. All right, come on, Facebook. Let's see what you got. Let's see ya. All right. Well, it looks like we got somebody else. Who else is there? All right, we got Mace and or Christy or both. How are y'all? Give it about 30 more seconds and see if we can get a few more people on, and if not, they can go back and check it out. Okay, we got Chris Gaines, he's watching. Thank you, welcome. And my beautiful daughter Kaylee Bartlett, there she is. I'm sure Kaya's watching with either her or mom, one of the two. We've got Amanda Bailey. How are you doing? I haven't seen you in forever, it seems like. It's been a few years. All right. Got a couple more. All right, so we got a total of 7 so far. Let's see if we can grab a couple more, and then we'll have to move on. All right, someone else just popped up, and that is Belinda Boyd. Tosh Boyd, how are you? All right, a couple more. All right, they're starting to stack in and pile in. I hope I don't disappoint. Yeah, this live feed it kind of has my nerves worked a little bit. It's a little different just talking into a camera as opposed to live people. All right, we're up to 12. So far, so good. All right, and if you haven't waved, go ahead and wave. And there's my cousin Ashley. All right, well, I said I'd start at 11:30. It's 11:32 right now. So good morning, First Baptist Church, and all others who are joining with us this late morning. We are live here from an undisclosed location in the safety bunker of First Baptist Church as I ride out this pandemic that we're going through. But just kidding. No, this is Pastor Bartlett, Pastor Billy Bartlett, and I wanted to just reconnect with my church family and anyone else who wants to join in with this little short message I'm gonna bring to you this morning. For those of you who may not know, we are going through a COVID-19 pandemic, and due to this, many businesses have closed. Public events they have closed, they have canceled. Schools are closing, and church services have halted, and we are waiting for this thing to kind of go over and to run its course. And we here at First Baptist, we have chosen as well to no longer meet in our congregation together as a congregation, but to adhere to the advice of the medical professionals who are advising us to keep our crowds limited to a very small number in doing that. But in doing that, I've had a lot of people who have raised some concerns, about our church and about the times that we're going through, and they're completely justifiable. This is a time where we're faced with situations that are new to us. This is something we've never seen before, at least in our lifetime. It puts us in a position to where we have to make decisions that we've never made before, much less even be prepared to handle. So I can understand the anxiety and the stress that the circumstances would bring to each and every one of us, and we all feel it as we can see the world as it's going along around us. We've had to make some major adjustments to accommodate what we're advised to do. But some of those concerns, specifically, concerning our church and from our church people, the concerns that I'm getting are, how are we going to stay connected? This is something that is really important for the body of Christ, is to be connected with one another and to continue that fellowship. Another concern is what the effect this will have on our church, long term. Is there going to be a long-term effect? Will we lose people who, don't come back because of this for whatever reason? I've been asked a lot about how can we continue to give, giving tithes and offerings to the church for the ministries that we have. And the big question is, what do we do now? We've been completely interrupted in our normal routine and our route. So I'm going to address a few of those this morning. I'm not going to keep you very long this morning, but I want to address the thing about staying connected. And I think it's very important, as I said earlier, for the fellowship of the saints is something that is so precious and something that's very sweet, and we ought to try to maintain that the very best that we can in light of the circumstances that we do face. Fortunately for us, we live in a time in history where we have the ability to stay connected without having to be physically present with each other. We can make phone calls, we can send text messages, we can do FaceTime, we can link up in social media. Now understand that that's not the most ideal circumstances, and it's certainly not a direct replacement to gathering together and worshiping together like we're so used to, and we can embrace one another with hugs and handshakes and have that face-to-face time with one another. So I understand, though it's not a direct replacement, and it's certainly not as good, but at least we have the ability to do that. We can make phone calls, we can text, we can reach one another, and we can still stay in contact and stay connected. So along with all of that, what I want to do is that if I would like to send out a challenge to our teachers. If you are teaching a class on Sunday morning or Wednesday evening, I would like for you to take it upon yourself and take the responsibility to stay in contact with your class. Reach out to them. I'm going to lean onto you pretty heavily for you to reach out to your class. I want you to check on them, once or twice a week at least. And if there's a need that arises out of those conversations, then we want to bring that up to me. And then if we have the ability to meet that need, by all means possible, then we'll actually meet that need, and that'll help us continue to minister to one another as well as stay connected. We'll have several people out there, checking on everyone and keeping everything connected. So if you are a teacher, I would like to challenge you to do that for us. And also, if you're a teacher, there's many different ways that you can actually gather your class together and have a Bible study through social media, through different apps. You can Zoom is a good app that you can do, and you can actually have a conference and see everybody's face on your screen and have a Bible study that way. Like I said, it's not the most ideal circumstance, but at least it can keep you connected, and it's just an idea. So if you can do that, go for it. But also, in addition to that, I've decided that each Sunday morning that I'm going to go ahead and do a live feed or a pre-recorded message that will air at 11 a.m. every Sunday morning until this thing plays out. I was unsure about whether or not I was going to do this or not, because one, if I was going to do it, I wanted to do it right. I wanted to be able to give you a good quality product, something that you could actually sit down and listen to for a little bit. So I need some feedback on how this is sounding and how it looks, and if it's easy to listen to. If I need to make some changes, I would like to get your feedback on that. And this is being done on a cell phone, and it gets the job done. But if there's anyone out there that has some videography skills and some equipment, and you would like to help us make this better for this time, I would certainly welcome the help from anybody that would be willing to help out with this. So just let me know concerning that. Another thing that I didn't want to do is I didn't want to try to recreate what we do on Sunday mornings without you there. I didn't want to try to recreate an in-person experience, because what we're doing right now is not an in-person experience. and it's awkward for me to preach to an empty room, though it still is awkward talking to a camera. I didn't want to try to mimic that. What you will find on Sunday mornings, or whenever I reach out to you through social media and on live feeds, it'll be a video just like this one, more of a studio type atmosphere, and I will try to keep every message between 15 to 20 minutes long. And I know I'm setting a precedent whenever I do that, because I'm going to show you that I actually do have the ability to do a 20-minute sermon and not 35 to 45 minutes long. So I won't try to keep you down. I won't try to tie you down. I understand how difficult it can be to focus your attention on your phone for a video that lasts that long. But every Sunday morning at 11 a.m., I will either air a pre-recorded message, or I will go live at 11 a.m. And I do have a few different ideas that I would like to implement as the time goes by, and as those things unfold, I will let you know so you can be a part of those things, and I'll keep you in the loop. So with all of those things considered, with the technology that we have today, there's really no reason why we should not be able to stay connected. So let's make sure that we make a conscious effort and be intentional and talking to everyone, and staying connected and praying for one another and helping each other meet their needs and helping each other get through this time of difficulty that we're now facing. Now, that was about staying connected. Secondly, I've been asked a question, well, how will this affect our church long term? Well, I have no idea, because it hasn't happened yet, for one. And the question as far as will people come back after this blows over? Will we lose some people after this thing is finished? And the answer to the question is I don't really know. But I will say that if we do find that some have not returned after this plays out, that we will be the church, and we will leave the 99 and we will go find the one, and we will reach out to them and check on them, and aid them in coming back to worshiping alongside us. So as far as the long-term effect, I have no idea how that's going to play out. Number 3 was, what about giving? And you're thinking, I know the first chance he gets to go live, he wants to talk about giving, but this has actually been the hottest topic amongst our church members, is they want to make sure that they still have the ability to give. It's a worship experience for them, and they want to make sure they continue to support the ministries of First Baptist Church. And though it is a question from some who want to make sure that they still give and still have that opportunity, and for some it's a worry that some may not continue to give throughout this process. But you do have the opportunities to give. Our office will be keeping office hours Monday through Friday from 8 to 2:15 p.m. You can drop it off, you can mail it, and you can even get on our website and you can give electronically there. And I'll actually post the link to that in the comments once this video posts. But so the opportunities are there. It's very important that we do continue to give. We as a church, we still have financial obligations that we need to meet. So I hope those answer the questions concerning that. And then the final question is, what do we do? Our lives have been disrupted. Our church gatherings have been interrupted. We've never had to do this before. It's never been done this way before. So what do we do now? What do we as a body of Christ, how are we supposed to function when we're not simply meeting in our church building on a weekly basis? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. And if you want the answer, I will do my best to answer that tomorrow morning in tomorrow's message at 11 a.m. right here on Facebook Live. So that's going to be to be continued, but I will see you then. So that kind of answers a few of the questions that have been posed to me. And I wanted to reach out and church body. Me as a pastor, I do feel the weight of this. Extremely. It's very difficult, and it was difficult to make the decision not to come and continue our meetings like we normally do. It's only been about a week, and I miss seeing y'all. I miss the hugs, I miss the handshakes, I miss the great conversation that we have face to face while we're here. And I just want everyone to know that I'm praying for everyone. If there's anything that you need from me, and I'm able to do it, I can promise you I'll be there to help. I've already had to miss out on a few surgeries that were in hospitals because they won't let me come in and visit. So so it's kind of difficult. But I would certainly covet your prayers, in return. And but we're going to get through this, and that's what I want to end with. This before I sign out, I want to kind of give you some words of encouragement. If we look in 2 Corinthians in chapter 4, towards the end of the chapter, we see that Paul is kind of describing some really difficult times. This is where he's talking about where he's persecuted, not forsaken. He's struck down, but he's not destroyed. He's going through some really difficult times. Not necessarily similar to what we're going through. I mean, he's suffering for the cause of Christ. He's preaching the gospel, and he's getting persecuted for it. But they're difficult times. But what gets him through that is the fact of who he is in Christ and what he's been promised as a child of God. And he reflects on those things throughout those several passages. And he closes out the chapter with these words. And he says, "Therefore, we do not lose heart, even though our outward man is perishing, yet the inward man is being renewed day by day. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment." That's something to really think. Our light affliction. I don't think any of us would consider Paul's affliction to be light, anything but. But he considered it to be a light affliction, which but for a moment is working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. While we do not look at the things which are seen, but at the things that are not seen. For the things that are seen are temporary, but the things that are not seen are eternal. What Paul is calling us to do is to really keep an eternal mindset about this thing. So no matter how bad it gets in this world, if you focus on the COVID-19 pandemic, if you focus on the negative things that we're actually having to suffer and go through right now, that's going to rob your joy. If you focus on the negative, you're going to end up becoming negative, and you will be beaten. But Paul is, and he is encouraging us to have an eternal focus, to focus on what is not seen, the things that we are promised as a child of God. We are a child of the King. We are saved by the blood of Jesus Christ, and we have an eternal hope that one day we are going to be with Jesus Christ forever and ever. And with that type of a perspective, there's nothing in this world that should be able to bring us down, because we have an eternal source of joy that we can always reflect on, and it's something that can never be taken away. So I would encourage you through this time to keep that eternal perspective, focus on Jesus, and glorify Him in your body. I hope to see you all soon, and be careful out there, and God bless.